Hello everybody, welcome to lesson number 3 or exercise number 3 in the first steps on Stradella Bass course for the accordion. In this exercise we are going to be introducing one additional bass note and a chord for the left hand. That would be the F bass and the F major chord. So this is situated right next to the C bass and the C chord, but on the opposite direction of where you would find the G bass and the G chord that we looked at in the previous exercise. So in this exercise, we're going to be learning the sheet music location. So how do you locate the F bass and the F chord, in this case the F major chord, on the bass clef? And also we will be learning a lot of different chord transitions. So since we have 3 different basses and chords, the C, G, F, there are so many different permutations here. So we could go from C to G and G back to C. This is something that we have already learned. And the next one, F to C, back and forth. So this is something that is not very different because we've already done the G down to the C. That's the exact same motion that we got to do to find the F from the C. And this is where the design of the Stradella bass is brilliant, because doing these transitions are so modular and repetitive that once you learn a technique like going up and down a fifth, you will be able to reuse that in like several different positions. And it's not like the right hand piano keyboard layout or instruments like guitar where you have to learn every individual chord separately. In a sense, this is kind of similar to the bar chords on a guitar, where you learn like one shape and like shift it up and down the fretboard to find all the chords. But this is a little bit more logical in my opinion, because in a bar chord you go up chromatically, right? You go from like F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then you could still do like the fourth and fifth by moving across strings, but you can't indefinitely keep going up in fifths or like down in fifths like you do on an accordion. So this design is brilliant, and the more you play it, the more you will realize it. So let's see how we can find the F bass, right? So we're starting off with our finger 4 on C, C bass, C chord. So to find G bass and G chord, we go towards the ceiling. To find the F bass and F chord, we stay in the same columns, same 2 columns, and go towards the floor. So this is my F. So G, C, and F. G is on the other side, and this is my F. So let's do that a few times, right? So I'm going to be playing C and C major, and then moving to F and F major, and then back up. So this motion should be very, very familiar to you if you have already practiced the G and C. So coming back to C from G is the exact motion that we do to go from C to F. So let's do that for a few times. I'm going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, and then for the next one, you're going to move to the F and come back. I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, we've looked at C to G, G to C, C to F, and F to C. Those are all taken care of. But we have this transition from F to G. How do we do that? So this is the first jump that we're going to be practicing. On the accordion, it's not a big jump. But nevertheless, it is a jump. We're not playing like neighboring rows anymore. We're skipping from F going up to G. We're skipping the C and going to G. And that's exactly how we're going to be playing when we practice this, by actually tracing our finger over the C bass button, feeling that marking that the C bass has, and then skipping it and going to the G. We're going to be doing that really, really slow. And then from G back to the F, feeling the C but not playing it, and then coming back, just to get a hang of the distance that the finger needs to move. Eventually, when you play it, you're not going to be doing it. You're just going to keep jumping it. But your fingers need to be trained on the distance they need to jump for this. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with F and F major. And then when I release it, I'm going to feel my C, not play it, and go to the G. And then come back, feel my C, not play it, and drop down to the F. Take your time doing this. Don't worry about the amount of time it takes, but make sure that you always play it correctly. As I've mentioned several times before, it's so much better to play it slow and correct instead of playing it fast and wrong. Playing it fast and wrong, you're actually doing more damage to your learning than actually progressing. So you're learning, building up a muscle memory that is incorrect, and you have to unlearn it in order to proceed. Okay. Find the C and find the F and F major, and position your fingers 4 and 3 on the bass and major chord. So hope that you're ready. So we're gonna play this and then feel the C, move over to the G. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. Forget about the counting. C and C major, not playing it, moving to G. Release. Come back to C and C major, not playing it, going to the F. Release. Do the same thing again, skipping the C and going to the G. Do that a few more times, feeling the C. Feel the C and go back to the G. What we are doing now is doing repetitions where your finger is doing the exact same distance over and over again, and building muscle memory. Do this enough number of times. And then you will no longer need to trace your finger over the C bass. This time I didn't feel it. So try to take the jump, not touching the C bass, leap over. Let it land right on the G, and then now back on the F. So when you're trying to do that, if your finger is overshooting it and going to like D or B flat, or if it's still landing on C, it means that you haven't really trained the distance. You need more number of repetitions. Don't feel discouraged. This is something that you'll be doing over and over and over again. And I should also mention that by learning this, you'll be able to do like so many more transitions by doing this exact same motion. Like for example, if I want to go from C to D, it's the same as going from F to G. Or going from G to A is exactly the same as going from F to G. So you'll be doing like, you're learning like so many more chord progressions or transitions by just learning these, and that is the beauty of the Stradella bass design or the layout. So let's practice this more. So this time we're not gonna keep touching and tracing our fingers over the C bass, but we're gonna jump off. We're not gonna jump off too high like this. We're still gonna go like this, but we don't have to like trace the C bass. Or you could even trace it, but don't spend time feeling it. Like, that's still okay. And you could even do that without bellows motion, right? Try to get it there, but without bellows motion, you don't really get the audible feedback to confirm that you've gotten the note right. So let's keep doing this. This time we're not going to try to feel the C bass. So let's practice that as many number of times that you want to practice. You can pause the video here, keep doing that. So now let's look at the sheet music. It's located right here. I've highlighted the note. It's actually right below the bottom line. It's the space below the bottom line. It's still touching the bottom line, but it's one space below it. So you can actually see the G here, which is right on the bottom line. And the F is just one spot below it, which is because F is the alphabet that precedes G, right? It comes before it, so it's one step lower than it. And same way, the F major chord, in this case, it's a major chord, but in the accordion notation, all chords are going to be marked here with an alphabet that marks the type of chord. So the F chord over here is also exactly one step below the G chord. The G chord was on the space below the top line. The F chord is actually on the line below the top line, which is right below that space where the G was. So there's F and G. So by learning these notes and chords one at a time, we're also trying to like recognize that from the sheet music, right? So make sure that you get these positions familiar enough for you, so that when you are reading it while playing, you don't have to stop and think about what it is. You can also like download some note recognition tools or like games that are available in like smartphones, and try to get that recognition up. But at this time, we're only dealing with 3 different notes and chords: C, F, and G. So before we get started, I just wanted to like sneak in a little bit of theory. So why F and G, right? So of all the notes that we could have right next to the C, why did we have like the G and the F? Because the G is the 5th, as we looked at in the last exercise, and the F is a 4th. It's like one step closer to C than than G on the keyboard, right? So the C and F, G is right next to it, one step away from it. So one whole tone away from it, technically. And so these two, if you want to think about it, if you want to visualize what these two are, you could think of those as like 2 unstable positions. So you start off with like C major, you start your song on a C major. Whenever you go to G major, it's an unresolved, unstable position from which you have to come back to C major to end your song. You could say the same about the F major, but that's a different flavor of the same thing. So it's a satisfying ending, right? So I could also do that. Is also something that went to an unstable state and came back to a stable state. The other thing that we can do is to go from C to F and then to G. So that is like a 2-step build-up of tension that is released. So you go from C to F, which is unstable, and then F to G is even more unstable. You gotta come back to C right now, and then you come back to C, and it's so satisfying. Like, try ending that on a G. It's not gonna sound good. Let's do like C, F, C, and then G. You'll be like, okay, what's coming up next? Do something to finish the song. It's like, okay, what's gonna happen? You gotta do something to end this, right? And then I'll do like, it's a satisfying ending. So just hear it out here. You don't have to think about this a lot. It's a little bit of theory on like why these chords work and how songs are structured. Now that we are learning to play these songs, it's good to learn a little bit about this as well. So let's get the exercise started. So in this exercise, we're playing this in 3/4. The last exercise was in 4/4. We're switching to 3/4 right now because we want to do like different rhythms, right? So the exercise starts off with a C major and a G major. That's exactly what we did in the last lesson, right? And then comes back to C major waltz. And now it goes down to F major. And then it comes back to C major. So all of this is just a one-step motion, right? There are no jumps involved anywhere. And then we're gonna go to F major, jump all the way to G major by skipping the C, and then we're coming back to C. That's what we're doing. So let's do all of that slowly. So let's hold the C bass and C chord together, right? So C major, next one, second measure here is G major, back to C major, going down to F major, and then back to C major, going right back to F and F major, and now we got this jump to G and G major. To C and C. That's about it. So I'm gonna play the waltz rhythm for this with slow counting. Let's take this really slow. Counting in 1, 2, 3, and we start on the one following it. 1, 2, 3. Major, now jumping to G. We're gonna start slow metronome practice. Feel free to like trace your finger over the C button when you do that F to G jump. Not a problem when you're doing this. It helps you play correctly. Play like that when you're playing really slow, and after a while that will no longer become necessary. You'll be jumping right up to the G. So let's drag the tempo down to 50 beats per minute. Before we start, do this without the metronome as many number of times as you want to develop familiarity with the notes. So again, play your bass and chords short, don't drag them. And also don't change bellows direction when you're holding down to a button or a chord. None of this. You gotta release your buttons before you change bellows direction. And also we're gonna be opening our bellows for 2 measures, closing for the next 2 measures, and then keep going the same way. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3. Jump coming. coming again. Repeat. One more time. Right, let's speed up the metronome a little bit, and as usual, feel free to repeat your practice at this tempo or a slower tempo as many number of times as you like. So let's do this at 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3. Repeat. We'll probably be going a little bit faster on the exercises that are up next. In the next exercise, we're going to do alternating basses, which is so much fun. We will be pushing for speed on that. So, and also a quick reminder, I'm stepping up faster in the video because I cannot keep these videos going on for like days, right? So you don't have to do it at all the speeds at the same day. Like, do it at a slow speed that you're comfortable with, and then you can come back to the same exercise on the next day and then play it at the same speed, and then get warmed up and then play it a little faster and all that. So don't expect to like finish each lesson in like a 30-minute or a 20 minutes setting that this video is made for. So you could always come back and revisit the videos and then keep practicing to develop. So I'd expect you to like take all 10 of these exercises for about like 4 to 8 weeks, maybe. If you're like a adult musician who has like other things to take care of in life, you could just get like a 20-minute practice session with any of this, and then it'll take like 4 to 8 weeks for you to go through all of these exercises. So let's catch up on the next lesson. Until then, have a great time.